Have you ever felt paralyzed by fear? Trapped in a cycle of doubt that stops you from seizing opportunities or living your life to the fullest? Imagine living a life where fear no longer controls your decisions or emotions, where every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and every setback a chance to learn. Sounds liberating, doesn't it? What if I told you that thousands of years ago, philosophers had already figured out a secret formula to not only face fear, but harness it as a powerful ally? This isn't just ancient wisdom lost in time. It's a practical toolkit that can transform your life today. In this video, we'll uncover 10 Stoic lessons to overcome your fears that will not just inspire you, but equip you with the tools to turn your deepest fears into stepping stones for success. Are you ready to challenge everything you thought you knew about fear and bravery? Don't just watch, dive in, engage with us. Before starting the video, share one of your lessons to overcome your fears in the comments below. This habit might be a game changer, and challenge yourself to apply these practices. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join us on this transformative journey. Let's get started, and I have just one request. Please watch this video in its entirety. If you're watching, you're not like most people. You're exceptional. Embrace that distinction and make sure you experience every part of this journey without skipping. One, decatastrophize your fears. Fear often looms larger in our minds than it does in reality. One effective method taught by Stoicism to confront and reduce fear is called decatastrophizing. This technique involves breaking down overwhelming fears into manageable, rational pieces. It starts with asking yourself a simple question: what is the worst that could happen? This query forces you to evaluate the actual risks involved, rather than succumbing to the exaggerated scenarios often painted by fear. The next step in decatastrophizing is to assess the likelihood of the worst-case scenario actually occurring. More often than not, you'll find that what you fear most is highly unlikely to happen. For instance, being nervous about public speaking might bring thoughts of utter humiliation or failure. However, realistically, such extreme outcomes are rare. By statistically evaluating these outcomes, you begin to realize that the actual consequences are usually far less severe than feared. Once you have identified and rationalized the worst-case scenario, the next step is to plan how you would cope if it were to occur. This planning doesn't just prepare you for a difficult situation, it also imbues a sense of control. For example, if you're worried about a crucial presentation, planning for mishaps like technical issues or tough questions can turn paralyzing fear into proactive preparedness. Finally, reflect on the outcomes of past fears that were never realized. Recalling how many of your previous fears didn't materialize or were less impactful when they did builds a mental database of evidence against catastrophic thinking. This Stoic practice not only quiets current fears, but also builds resilience against future anxieties. By methodically dissecting fears and approaching them with logic and preparedness, you can significantly reduce their influence over your life. 2. Align with nature. In Stoicism, there is a profound emphasis on living in accordance with nature. This principle extends beyond the environmental context. It's about aligning with the fundamental essence of human nature and the universe. The Stoics believed that every aspect of the world, including human behavior and emotions, operates in harmony with natural laws. By understanding what is natural for humans, We can distinguish between rational and irrational fears. Rational fears protect us, while irrational ones often misguide us away from our true potential. To apply this Stoic lesson, start by observing your own responses to fear. Are these responses in line with the actual threats, or are they exaggerated reactions to unlikely scenarios? By scrutinizing our fears through the lens of nature and rationality, we can learn to respond only to genuine threats to our well-being. This alignment reduces unnecessary anxiety, allowing us to focus more effectively on actions that enhance. Furthermore, aligning with nature involves embracing the inevitability of change and the unpredictability of life. Fear often stems from a desire for control over the uncontrollable. Stoics teach that by accepting the natural flow of events, we can maintain our inner peace. This doesn't mean resignation, but rather an active engagement with life, grounded in the understanding that some things are beyond our control. It encourages a shift from fear-based reactions to proactive living. Practically, you can cultivate alignment with nature through meditation, spending time in natural settings, and deliberate reflection on your place within the larger context of life. Each of these activities helps reinforce the Stoic view that being at peace with the nature of things is key to overcoming fear. By regularly connecting with the natural world and reflecting on the Stoic teachings, you can develop a more grounded, fearless approach to life's challenges. This practice not only alleviates fears, but also enriches your life with a deeper sense of purpose and connection. 3. Adopt voluntary discomfort. Voluntary discomfort is a powerful Stoic practice that teaches us to embrace discomfort deliberately as a means of fortifying our resilience against fears. The Stoics believed that by intentionally placing ourselves in situations of controlled adversity, we can train our minds to handle life's unavoidable hardships with greater ease and less fear. This practice is not about seeking pain, but about learning the subtle art of enduring discomfort gracefully. By choosing to face discomfort, whether it's by taking cold showers, fasting, or engaging in challenging public speaking events, we not only test our physical limits, but also challenge the mental barriers that fear creates. These activities might seem daunting at first, but they serve as excellent training grounds for our minds, teaching us that discomfort is temporary and often more manageable than our fears would have us believe. The key to this practice is regularity. Consistent exposure to small, controlled doses of discomfort can significantly diminish the psychological impact of fear over time. It's similar to muscle training. The more frequently you expose yourself to discomfort, the stronger and more resilient you become. This doesn't mean throwing yourself into extreme situations without preparation, but rather integrating manageable challenges into your daily routine. As you grow accustomed to this practice, you'll notice a shift in how you respond to unexpected adversities. Fear's grip will loosen, replaced by a confident assurance that you can handle whatever comes your way. This transformation isn't just about overcoming fear. It's about empowering yourself to live a life defined not by avoidance, but by courage and resilience. Adopting voluntary discomfort as a regular practice paves the way for this profound, personal evolution, making you not just fearless, but also fiercely capable in the face of life's challenges. 4. The obstacle is the way. The concept that the obstacle is the way is derived from the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy, particularly from Marcus Aurelius' Meditations. It encourages the view that obstacles should not be seen as impediments to our goals, but rather as opportunities to overcome. and thereby strengthen ourselves. This paradigm shift invites us to re-evaluate our approach to the challenges we face, understanding them as crucial parts of our journey rather than unfortunate detours. This perspective can transform our approach to fear, turning daunting tasks into valuable lessons. In applying this lesson to our fears, we begin by identifying the fear and then closely examining the obstacle it presents. Is it a fear of failure, of judgment, or perhaps of the unknown? Each fear, once pinpointed, is dissected to understand its nature and origin. This examination allows us to see not just the obstacle itself, but the potential pathways that can be carved through or around it. By studying our fears in this way, we can find tailored strategies to tackle them, turning what might have been a roadblock into a stepping stone. Moreover, this Stoic lesson teaches resilience. As we face each fear with the mindset that this obstacle is the way, we develop mental and emotional toughness. This resilience is born from the repeated practice of facing fears and overcoming obstacles, which builds confidence and a more profound sense of capability. Every challenge overcome is a victory not just over a particular circumstance, but over our own limitations and past hesitations. Lastly, the beauty of this approach lies in its universality and simplicity. It can be applied to any fear or challenge, no matter how big or small. Whether it's public speaking, starting a new business, or confronting a personal conflict, the methodology remains the same. Recognize the obstacle, dissect it, find a path through it, and learn from the process. This lesson, therefore, is not just about overcoming fear, but about cultivating a powerful, proactive approach to life's inevitable challenges. By embracing every obstacle as the way forward, we empower ourselves to lead more fearless and fulfilling lives. 5. Practice silence and reflection. In our modern, fast-paced world, silence has become a rare commodity, yet it holds an immense power recognized by the Stoics as essential for personal growth. Practicing regular periods of silence isn't merely about finding tranquility. It's an active engagement in reflection that allows us to confront our fears head-on. By carving out time to sit quietly with our thoughts, we create the space needed to listen intently to our internal dialogues. This practice can reveal the underlying causes of our fears and anxieties, many of which go unnoticed in the chaos of daily life. During these quiet moments, we're invited to examine the nature of our fears. Are they rational? What's their origin? This introspection enables us to challenge irrational fears that often whisper subtly yet persistently in the back of our minds. It's in the stillness that we can question these fears' validity, stripping them of their power by exposing them to the scrutiny of our rational mind. This process is not about suppression, but understanding and addressing the root causes of our fears. Moreover, silence fosters a deeper connection with ourselves, enhancing our self-awareness. It allows us to align our actions with our true values, which is a fundamental Stoic principle. This alignment is crucial because when our actions mirror our beliefs, fears often diminish. We become less concerned with external validation or outcomes and more focused on living authentically. In turn, this authenticity builds inner strength and resilience, qualities that help us manage fear effectively. Lastly, incorporating regular periods of silence into our routine can be a form of mental training. Just as athletes train their bodies, we can train our minds to become stronger and more resilient in the face of fear. Each session of silent reflection is an exercise in mental fortitude, preparing us to handle life's inevitable challenges with grace and composure. 6. Limit your inputs. In today's world, we are bombarded with information from countless sources. News feeds, social media, and even conversations can be filled with negative content that plays on our fears. Stoicism teaches the importance of guarding your mind against harmful inputs, a practice that's incredibly relevant in our digital age. By consciously choosing what we expose ourselves to, we can maintain a more balanced and rational outlook on life. The Stoics understood that our emotions can be heavily influenced by what we perceive and absorb from our environment. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, advised people to be vigilant about the impressions they allow into their minds, understanding that these impressions could turn into thoughts, which then could turn into actions. Therefore, limiting exposure to fear-inducing or negative stimuli isn't just about avoiding unpleasantness. It's about fostering a healthier mental state. To implement this in modern terms, start by evaluating the sources of your information and entertainment. Are they contributing to your well-being or exacerbating your fears? Limiting your exposure to sensational news, reducing time spent on social media platforms known for their negativity, and choosing entertainment that uplifts rather than distresses can all contribute to a more stoic way of living. Finally, it's about creating a routine that supports this practice. Set specific times to check news or social media rather than doing it continuously throughout the day. This not only helps reduce the intake of negative information, but also gives you space to engage more deeply with positive and enriching content. By fostering this discipline, you create a mental environment where reason prevails over fear, allowing you to live a more focused and serene life, true to the Stoic philosophy. 7. Power of permanence perception. One of the most profound yet overlooked strategies in Stoicism is the adjustment of our perception of permanence. Many of our fears stem from a belief that uncomfortable or threatening situations are never-ending. However, by realizing the transient nature of all things, we can see that most fearful situations are only temporary. This understanding can significantly diminish the intensity of our fears, making them more manageable and less intimidating. Marcus Aurelius, a revered Stoic philosopher, often reflected on the temporary nature of life's challenges. He believed that reminding ourselves of the impermanence of situations helps in cultivating a calm mind. Every problem we face will pass, and understanding this can reduce the overwhelming feeling that often accompanies fear. It's about recognizing that no matter how severe a situation may seem, it is just a moment in time, one that will eventually give way to something else. This lesson involves practicing the perception of impermanence daily. When faced with a situation that evokes fear, remind yourself, "This too shall pass." It is a powerful affirmation that can help reframe your emotional responses to fear. By repeatedly acknowledging that difficulties are only temporary, you cultivate a more resilient mindset that can face challenges without succumbing to fear. Furthermore, reflecting on past fears and how you have overcome them can reinforce this perception. Remembering that you have survived every one of your worst days so far provides a concrete basis for this Stoic lesson. Each time you successfully navigate through a fearful event, it serves as evidence of your ability to handle future fears. This builds confidence and reduces the perceived permanence of new challenges, fostering a healthier approach to dealing with life's inevitable uncertainties. 8. Employ Stoic forgiveness. Stoic forgiveness is an empowering concept that encourages us to see past our initial reactions and understand the deeper motivations behind others' actions. It stems from the Stoic belief in viewing events and actions through the lens of logic and reason, rather than through the distorting lens of emotional bias. By practicing Stoic forgiveness, we begin to see that people often act out of their own struggles and limited perceptions, not because they aim to cause harm. This realization can significantly lessen the fears and anxieties we associate with interpersonal conflicts and betrayals. Understanding the context of others' behaviors helps in reducing the fears that arise from misunderstandings and perceived slights. For instance, if someone lashes out in stress, recognizing their stress rather than taking their words personally can shift your emotional response from one of hurt and fear to one of empathy and detachment. This shift is crucial for maintaining inner peace and preventing unnecessary fear responses. Additionally, Stoic forgiveness involves accepting that we cannot control others' actions, only our reactions. This acceptance is liberating, as it allows us to let go of grudges and fears that might otherwise linger and poison our mental well-being. It is not about excusing negative behavior, but rather choosing not to allow it to dictate our emotional state. By forgiving, we free ourselves from the weight of ongoing resentment and fear, which are barriers to rational thinking and personal growth. Finally, practicing Stoic forgiveness actively contributes to personal resilience. It builds a mental fortitude that shields against the fear of future hurts, as it reassures us of our capability to handle interpersonal challenges rationally and compassionately. In doing so, it not only helps in overcoming current fears, but also equips us to face future interactions with a stronger, more balanced perspective. This Stoic approach to forgiveness is a powerful tool in the journey towards overcoming fears, fostering a sense of control and freedom in how we engage with the world around us. 9. Define your fear. Criteria. Understanding what should genuinely trigger fear is a transformative concept rooted in Stoic philosophy. The Stoics teach us to use reason as our guide in determining our reactions to the world around us. By establishing clear criteria for what warrants fear, you are empowered to apply logical analysis to situations that typically induce anxiety. This process involves examining whether a perceived threat poses a real, rational danger to your well-being, or if it's an exaggerated product of subjective fears. For instance, if you fear public speaking, assess this fear against your criteria. Does speaking in front of others pose a direct threat to your safety or significant life consequences? Typically, the answer is no. Recognizing this discrepancy helps to diminish the fear and places you in a position of control, enabling a more measured response to what initially feels like an intimidating situation. Implementing this approach requires practice and discipline. Start by listing fears that frequently surface in your life. Next to each fear, note why it feels threatening. Then, critically assess whether these reasons align with your rational criteria for fear. This method not only reduces unnecessary stress, but also sharpens your decision-making skills as you learn to act based on logic rather than emotion. Adopting this Stoic practice nurtures a more resilient and courageous mindset. It trains you to strip away the layers of irrational fear that cloud judgment, allowing you to face life's challenges with clarity and confidence. Over time, this practice fosters a profound inner peace, knowing that your responses are governed by reason, not reactive emotions. This is the essence of living a Stoic life, embracing reason as the ultimate tool for overcoming fears and achieving personal freedom. 10. Cultivate your inner citadel. Cultivating your inner citadel is about building a personal fortress of tranquility and strength within your mind. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, often spoke about this concept as a metaphorical place where you can retreat from the world's chaos and confusion. This mental stronghold is not built overnight, but is a product of consistent practice and commitment to Stoic principles. It serves as a sanctuary, protecting you from external disturbances and internal turmoil. The first step in building this citadel is regular self-reflection. This involves examining your thoughts, reactions, and the underlying motives behind your actions. By understanding your mental processes, you can start to fortify your mind against irrational fears and emotional disturbances. It's about recognizing your vulnerabilities and transforming them into strengths through mindful practice and philosophical contemplation. In addition to self-reflection, adopting Stoic meditation practices plays a crucial role. These practices focus on visualizing adverse scenarios and rehearsing rational responses to them. By mentally preparing for hardships, you minimize the impact they have when they occur. This preparation helps in reinforcing the walls of your inner citadel, making you less susceptible to the whims of fate and the turbulence of emotions. Lastly, adherence to core Stoic beliefs, such as focusing only on what you can control and accepting what you cannot, strengthens your inner citadel. This philosophical resilience enables you to face life's challenges with composure and grace. Every time you choose a reasoned response over a knee-jerk emotional reaction, you lay another brick in your fortress. Over time, this practice not only helps in overcoming fears, but also in leading a more deliberate and fulfilling life. As we wrap up today's journey through these unique Stoic lessons to conquer fear, remember that transformation starts with action. If you found these strategies insightful, hit that like button to let us know, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful insights. Now, we want to hear from you. Comment below with the fears you're ready to tackle using these Stoic methods. What challenges have you faced recently? How have you used or plan to use Stoicism to overcome them? Share your stories in the comments to inspire others and perhaps discover new perspectives on your journey. Let's build a community where courage and wisdom flourish. Join the conversation below and let's empower each other to live fearlessly with Stoicism.